I discovered my wife's family was using me for insider trading when they pushed for a postnup. Now karma has hit them back and they're under federal investigation. I, 34M, never thought I'd be writing this, but life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. This is a story about how my promotion exposed a 5-year-long con that turned my entire marriage into a federal investigation. I'm still processing everything, but I need to get this off my chest. I work in tech, specifically in enterprise software development. 6 months ago, I was promoted to Senior VP of Product Development, nearly tripling my salary to 7 figures. It was the culmination of 8 years of hard work, and I was on cloud 9. I called my wife first. She seemed excited, but looking back, there was something off about her reaction. She insisted on waiting to celebrate until she could tell her family. For context, my wife's family comes from serious old money, the kind that has buildings named after them and gets invited to charity galas. When we first started dating 6 years ago, they were politely dismissive of me. I was just a mid-level developer then, but my wife, who I met at a tech conference where she was representing her family's consulting firm, seemed different from their world. She was down-to-earth, brilliant, and appeared to genuinely care about technology's impact on society. When we got engaged after a year of dating, her family insisted on a prenup. My wife surprisingly stood her ground against them, saying she wouldn't start our marriage with distrust. I remember feeling so grateful, thinking I'd found someone who chose love over money. The irony of that memory makes me sick now. The first sign that something was wrong came 3 weeks after my promotion announcement. My mother-in-law, who usually only visited during holidays, started showing up at our house unannounced. She'd bring expensive wines and steer every conversation toward financial responsibility and protecting family legacy. I found it odd, but chalked it up to their wealthy family dynamics. Then came the dinner that started unraveling everything. My wife's parents invited us to their mansion for what they called a family financial discussion. They'd invited their longtime family lawyer, which should have been another red flag. Over lobster and $500 bottles of wine, they proposed that I sign a postnuptial agreement. Their argument seemed reasonable on the surface. With my new position and significantly increased income, it made sense to protect both families' interests. They emphasized how it would benefit me too, offering to include clauses about their family connections and business networks being available to me. My wife sat there quietly, occasionally nodding but never really meeting my eyes. I told them I'd need my own lawyer to review any agreement. The speed at which their lawyer tried to discourage this should have been my third red flag. He kept emphasizing the importance of keeping things in the family and how outside lawyers might complicate unnecessary details. I stood firm, saying I'd have my corporate lawyer look it over. The draft they sent over was dense with legal jargon, but something caught my attention. There were multiple references to pre-existing family investments and shared business interests that seemed unnecessarily complex for what should have been a straightforward asset division agreement. When I asked my wife about these clauses, she became defensive, saying it was just standard language her family used in all their legal documents. Being in tech, I'm naturally analytical. Numbers are my thing. It's partly why I got the promotion. I spent the next week diving deep into the documentation they'd provided, cross-referencing dates, transactions, and clauses. Most people would have missed the pattern, but years of debugging complex systems had trained me to spot inconsistencies. The transactions listed in their family business dealings showed a suspicious pattern. Large sums of money moving between accounts, always just under regulatory reporting thresholds, coinciding perfectly with major contract awards or project announcements at my company. Some dated back to before I even met my wife. I took a weekend while my wife was at a family retreat to dig deeper. I pulled up historical data about my company's biggest deals over the past 6 years. Every significant movement in their family's investments aligned perfectly with our company's confidential decisions, days or sometimes weeks before public announcements. The pieces started fitting together in a way that made me physically ill. The timing of when my wife approached me at that tech conference. Her family's initial resistance to our relationship suddenly transforming into acceptance. The staged fight about the prenup to gain my trust. Her constant, subtle questions about my work projects, always posed as supportive interest in my career. I needed hard evidence before making accusations. I hired a private investigator who specialized in financial fraud. Within 2 weeks, they uncovered a complex web of shell companies and investment vehicles, all leading back to my wife's family's firm. They'd been using insider information to make trades for years, possibly decades. The final confirmation came when I found a draft of the postnuptial agreement on our shared home network. The document creation date was 3 months before my promotion was even announced internally. They had known it was coming because they'd been trading on inside information the whole time. When I confronted my wife, I expected denial. Instead, she broke down in a way I'd never seen before. Not from guilt, but from being caught. She admitted everything. Her family had identified me years ago as a potential source of information within the company. They'd encouraged her to attend that conference, armed with information about my interests and personality. Our entire relationship had been a long con operation. The prenup resistance? Calculated to make me trust her. Her job at the family's consulting firm? a cover for managing their insider trading operation. My promotion would have given them access to bigger deals, more valuable information, and the Postnup was designed to silence me if I ever discovered anything. I went straight to my company's legal department, then to the SEC. The evidence was overwhelming. Years of perfectly timed trades, millions in illegal profits, all documented through their own records. Within days, federal investigators were involved, and her family's assets were frozen. The aftermath has been brutal. Her family's lawyers are aggressive, trying to paint me as an ungrateful social climber who betrayed family trust. They've even suggested I was the one feeding them information deliberately, only turning on them after securing my promotion. My career, thankfully, is secure. The company's backing me fully since I reported everything as soon as I discovered it. I've been cooperating with federal investigators, helping them understand the technical side of how they accessed and used the information. I've moved out of our house into a secure apartment, changed my number, email, everything. Most of my belongings are still there, but I don't care about stuff anymore. 5 years of my life feel like an elaborate lie. Every anniversary, every vacation, every intimate moment, all potentially calculated moves in their scheme. The divorce proceedings are complex due to the ongoing federal investigation. My lawyers are confident about the outcome, but they warn it could take years to fully resolve. The criminal case against her family is building, with potential charges ranging from securities fraud to conspiracy. The hardest part isn't the legal battle or even the betrayal. It's questioning every memory, every moment I thought was real. Did she ever actually love me? Were there genuine moments among the deception? I find myself analyzing past conversations like lines of code, looking for the bugs I missed. Last week, I found our wedding album while packing some files. The photos show such genuine-looking happiness. Her smile, the way she looked at me. Either she deserved an Oscar, or somewhere along the line, real feelings got mixed up in their scheme. I'm not sure which possibility hurts more. For anyone else out there, especially those succeeding in their careers, trust your instincts. When something feels wrong, dig deeper. Success can make you a target, and sometimes the biggest betrayals come wrapped in the prettiest packages. Watch out for sudden changes in behavior around money, especially from previously disinterested parties. I'm trying to move forward. The company's been understanding about my need for personal days, and I've started seeing a therapist to process everything. My team's picked up the slack while I deal with the legal proceedings, and I'm gradually getting back into the rhythm of work. Looking back, there were probably signs I ignored. The way she deflected certain questions about her family's business. How she always seemed to know about industry moves before they happened. Her insistence on handling all our investment decisions. But when you're in love, you make excuses. You fill in the gaps with trust. TLDR, got a major promotion, wife's family suddenly wanted a Postnup. Investigation into their suspicious demands revealed they'd been using me for insider trading for years. Wife wasn't on it from the start. Now they're under federal investigation and we're getting divorced.